Hey you, I hope you're having a good day or night. Some nights, when my spouse and I can't decide on a movie to watch, one of our favorite things to do is to head to Google and type in trippy movies to watch high Reddit. That last part is important. I do not want a Google Gemini answer. I want to hear from the people. We look through some of the posts looking for the best written description of why people think their particular movie is trippy, and then we choose a movie to watch. We then proceed to watch the movie Stone Cold Sober. Caught you. You thought I was gonna say stoned, didn't you?
Is that a weed?
Graham.
I'm calling the police!
911, what's your emergency?
However, one of these movies was so wild and so entertaining that I knew I needed to make a video about it. And that movie is The Last Unicorn. The Last Unicorn is an animated film that was released in 1982 based off of the novel of the same name by Peter S. Beagle. The movie follows a unicorn who hears from two hunters passing through her woods that she is the last of her kind. She then sets out on a journey to find out if she truly is the last unicorn. And I'm gonna be honest, I also went on a journey while watching this film. No, not like that. I told you, I watched this Stone Cold Sober. 5 minutes into the film, I had to pause and grab my computer to jot down notes because I knew I was gonna be in for a wild ride. So buckle up because I'm gonna take you on this wild ride with me. The film opens up on a beautiful forest. Two hunters begin to pass through this forest and are watched from afar by a unicorn. One of the hunters tells the other hunter the legends of the unicorns. As they leave the forest, the hunter yells to the air, talking to the unicorn that guards the forest, saying that they must never leave the forest as it's not safe for them, and that they are the last of their kind. The unicorn asks to herself,
I am the only unicorn there is.
slow zoom in for drama, cue Revlon wind. Then the opening credits roll and is accompanied by an absolute banger. This song is so powerful, but also so silly and stupid. The lyrics basically describe the B-roll footage that is playing scene by scene. The lyrics also kind of diss the unicorn. I like to think that the spirits of the forest are being shady and are singing this song directly to the unicorn. Hello, the unicorn. I am the representative of the spirit of the forest. Oh, hello there, spirit. Us spirits have created an EP and have dedicated the song to you. After all, you do guard our forest. We wanted to just read over some of the lyrics and give a little sneak peek to our VIU. That's you. I am touched, spirits. I would be delighted to hear what poetry you have come up with. When the last eagle flies over the last crumbling mountain, and the last lion roars at the last dusty fountain. You know, the dusty fountain you always hang out at. Dusty? Well, sorry, I don't have hands to dust with. I guess maybe I could use my tail? Anyway, moving on. In the shadow of the forest, though she may be old and worn, old and worn? They will stare unbelieving at the last unicorn. Wait, are they staring at me because I'm old and worn, or because I'm the last unicorn? Yes. Though the lyrics are not the most thought-provoking, it does make you want to just climb onto a mountaintop and scream. After what I'm sure we can all describe as a life-changing song, the unicorn starts questioning how she could be the last unicorn. She goes on saying they can't die, and there's never been a time without the unicorns. She then is like, what do men know? Yes, hand her her crown and her flowers because she knows the truth. What do men know? I think I need to make merch that's just a picture of a unicorn going, what do men know? I would totally wear it. The unicorn meets a butterfly and asks him if he has seen any other unicorns on his travels. The butterfly, I'll be honest, kind of seems like he's tweaking out a bit. He can only speak in songs, quotes, or riddles and will not give her a straight answer. He then proceeds to use her horn as a stripper pole. The unicorn knows her worth and is like, you should be respectful. Don't you know who I am? Her reputation precedes her, of course. The butterfly then calls her pickled face, and the unicorn is like, girl, bye. I do not have time to talk to a silly little butterfly like you. Main toss. Suddenly, after being left on red, the butterfly becomes a scholar and starts describing unicorns to the unicorn. He then tells the unicorn that there is a red bull that chased all the other unicorns to the ends of the earth, covering their tracks, but she can find them if she is brave enough. He then leaves her with no other information. You're really not that helpful. Determined to find the other unicorns, the unicorn leaves the safety of her forest to begin her search. Girly is not thinking clearly. She heard a rumor from two unreliable sources who were men and then decides to travel on her own?
You in danger, girl.
This sounds like a kidnapping waiting to happen. Spoilers. We see the unicorn traveling through the seasons before she comes across an elderly farmer. We find out that most humans cannot see the horn of the unicorn, and this farmer just thinks that she's a white mare, and he proceeds to try to catch her. The unicorn gets pissed at the misidentification and pushes the farmer over. Good for her. She has a strong sense of identity, knows who she is, and will not be misnamed. We're gonna dive deeper into this point later on. We cut to another travel montage accompanied by another song that's just describing the scene. I feel like they animated the entire film and then we're like, oh wait, we need a song, and got a singer to sit down, watch the scene, and then just ad-lib a song to go along with it. Okay, so we have the entire film ready, but we think we need another song to fit into this montage scene. So we're just gonna play the scenes for you and just see what you come up with. Got it. Okay, so she just came from civilization, so I think we could call the song Man's Road because she's walking on Man's Road. Yes, this is the energy that we need. Okay, so the sun is rising up, so maybe we can go with something like horizon rising up to meet the purple dawn. Then it's windy and an eagle is flying by, so we can be like a dust demon screaming, bring me an eagle to lead me on, since she follows the eagle. And then she continues walking, so we could say walking on Man's Road about 8 more times, and I think we have a hit on our hands. You are absolutely brilliant. While sleeping on the side of the road, the unicorn is noticed by a witch, Mommy Fortuna, who runs a traveling circus. Although her name is Mommy Fortuna, she is definitely not Mommy. Sorry, women lovers. She puts the unicorn under her sleep spell and captures her, placing a fake horn on her head so other people can see her as a unicorn. This is the foreshadowing I was talking about earlier. This is why you don't listen to men. Something bad always happens whenever you listen to them. Her carnival appears to contain other mythical creatures. However, these are really just sad animals put under illusion magic. However, Mommy Fortuna does have one other real mythical creature captured, the harpy Selena. And boy, is she pissed. Side note, do I need to censor these, or is it fine because it's a mythical creature? I was honestly shocked with how evil Mommy Fortuna was. She's not even the main antagonist, but she is so cruel. She is obsessed with power and control. She wants to impart lasting trauma on the mythical creatures that she captures. She constantly taunts Selena. She knows Selena is going to kill her at one point, but she is going to live on in her memory forever because Selena is an immortal as the person who imprisoned, tortured, and controlled her. She is delighted in knowing that she will cause a lasting pain on an immortal creature. That is the legacy that she wants to leave behind. If that's not cruelty, I don't know what is. The unicorn is befriended by Schmendrick the magician, who is working for Mommy Fortuna. Schmendrick returns at night to free the unicorn from her cage. Mommy Fortuna's other lackey tries to intervene, but Schmendrick holds him off while the unicorn releases all of the other animals. Schmendrick warns the unicorn not to release Selena, otherwise she's going to kill her. Selena is like, no way girl, we're sisters, free me, I won't hurt you, in the creepiest voice ever.
Set me free. We are sisters, you and I.
The unicorn frees her, and surprise, surprise, Schmendrick was actually right. A man being right for once? Wow, okay. And Selena starts attacking her. Mommy Fortuna finally comes out to see what all the fuss is about, and Selena starts attacking her instead. Good for her. Fortuna continues to taunt Selena until her last breath, saying, I was the one who imprisoned you, and you were only able to escape because you had help. She then proclaims that she is powerful and immortal as she is going to live on in Selena's memory, and then she's offed by Selena. Finally. Schmendrick feels bad about an old woman dying, but like, whose side are you on? She was evil. The unicorn is like, I don't feel bad. Unicorns don't feel regret. Schmendrick tells the unicorn of King Haggard, who lives in a barren kingdom. Supposedly, he is the one who sent the Red Bull to capture and herd all of the unicorns. Schmendrick decides to join the unicorn on her journey, saying that she won't be able to grant his true wish, which is to become a real magician. She's like, you can join me, but I wish you would ask for any other reward for saving me. Like, damn, she does not like him that much. Schmendrick tells the unicorn not to worry about not being able to grant his wish, and she's like, I'm not an unbothered queen. We'd love to see it. The unicorn left her for us, and every interaction with a human so far has been tiring, dangerous, or in Schmendrick's case, annoying. She's got some patience. While traveling, a group of bandits ride by. The unicorn goes to hide, and Schmendrick is captured by the bandits and taken back to their camp. The bandits are led by Captain Cully, who at first welcomes Schmendrick to his camp. We're also introduced to Molly Grew, Captain Cully's wife, who wants Schmendrick out of the camp because she does not want another mouth to feed. Cully and his group of bandits are giving Robin Hood vibes, although he would hate that comparison since he thinks that Robin Hood is just a myth. Schmendrick decides to be a little shady and actually surprises himself by using real magic to conjure up an illusion of Robin Hood, Maid Marian, and his merry men. The illusions lead the bandits and Molly away deeper into the forest. Molly was a little too eager to chase after Maid Marian.
Wait for me! Molly!
I see you, queen. She's a girl's girl, if you know what I mean. Every time Schmendrick uses magic successfully, he says, "Magic, do what you will," and basically abolishes any responsibility for what happens afterwards. Can you imagine using that excuse in court? Captain Cully is pissed and frightened by Schmendrick's magic, and also upset that his wife is leaving him for another woman, as she should. Cully decides to tie Schmendrick to a tree to starve to death. And hot damn, look at how caked up this tree is. Cully really just shoved Schmendrick's face right into that cake as he was tying him up. What a way to die. After Cully leaves, Schmendrick decides he doesn't want to live that caked up life and tries to free himself using magic. He accidentally brings the tree to life, and we see that the tree is not actually caked up. Those are her breasts.
Those aren't breasts. These are breasts.
Oh, girl.
These are breasts.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Going from eating cake to motorboating, is Schmendrick the original bi husband? The tree tries to... This is so stupid. This is so stupid. The tree tries to seduce Schmendrick by pushing his face into her boobs and rubbing them around. I am not making this up. Schmendrick, hopeless, calls for the unicorn's help, and the tree calls the unicorn a hussy, saying that she will never have Schmendrick. Don't worry, girly, I'm sure she does not want this man. The tree says if she can't have him, they will die together, and proceeds to suffocate him with her breasts.
She shall never have you, the hussy. We will perish together.
Kind of dramatic, don't you think? He's just a man. I even have a note written down that I had to pause the movie to check what age rating the film had. And what do you think? PG? Maybe PG-13 because of all the breasts? No, it's rated G. Three-breasted harpy, motorboating tree, and all. The unicorn frees him from the tree's grasp, and the tree turns back into a normal tree. Bye-bye, boobs. The unicorn comments that Schmendrick actually used real magic for once, but I don't think she should be giving him props as it almost killed him. Molly Grew finds Schmendrick in the unicorn, and she can actually see the unicorn's horn. Upon seeing the unicorn, Molly starts screaming at the unicorn and crying, saying,
Where have you been? Damn you! Where have you been? How dare you? How dare you come to me now when I am this?
I'm gonna say it. Girl is having a bad midlife crisis. Molly decides to join Schmendrick and the unicorn on their journey to Haggard's fortress. Schmendrick forbids it and makes some kind of threat, but the unicorn and Molly just laugh it off and proceed on their way. See, what do men know? As the crew is traveling towards the outskirts of Haggard's fortress, another song accompanies the montage, basically describing what's happening in the scenes. As the crew gets closer to the fortress, the Red Bull appears from the fortress and starts chasing the unicorn, trying to herd her somewhere. Schmendrick is just standing around, and Molly literally has to beg him to do something. Suddenly, he gets all self-deprecating and is like, I don't have real magic. Dude, this is not the time to be wallowing. Maybe make another sexy tree or something. Maybe you can motorboat the Red Bull. Like, I feel like that would solve a lot of problems. After Molly continues to cry, Schmendrick finally decides to do something and calls upon the magic, saying, do what you will, and the magic turns the unicorn into a human. Seeing a human and not a unicorn, the Red Bull proceeds to leave them alone. Once the Red Bull leaves, Molly is screaming, what have you done? In regards to turning the unicorn into a human. Girl, you just asked him to do something? What did you have in mind? Schmendrick deflects the blame again, saying that it wasn't his fault, it was just the magic. The unicorn wakes up and immediately has dysphoria, echoing Molly's sentiment, saying, what have you done to me? The unicorn has so much dysphoria, she says that she wishes they would have just let the Red Bull catch her or let Selena kill her, as she can feel this body dying around her.
I wish you had let the Red Bull take me. I wish you had left me to the harpy. I can feel this body dying all around me.
She's afraid of this new body more than she's afraid of the Red Bull. Welcome to the Scholar's Corner, where we take a break from the comedy and dive deeper into a specific aspect of the movie that we are commenting on. Today, we will discuss the idea of watching The Last Unicorn through the lens of a trans narrative. While watching this movie, my spouse felt very connected to the unicorn, saying, "Is this me?" multiple times throughout the film as a trans non-binary person. It's evident that we're not alone in viewing this movie as a trans narrative, as many opinions echoing the same sentiment can be found across Reddit and the internet. Journal articles have even been written about viewing The Last Unicorn through this trans narrative lens. I will be discussing one such article today titled "The First Queer Unicorn: Reading Peter S. Beagle's The Last Unicorn as Trans Narrative" by Timothy S. Miller and Arwen Paredes. Now, it's important while researching to always investigate your sources. This article was published under the Literature Open Access Journal through the Multidisciplinary Digital Publishing Institute. Doing a little digging, this journal does require an article processing fee to cover the cost of publishing, as this is an open source journal. However, articles are peer-reviewed and can go through a revision process before being published. This is not a scientific journal, so I think we could take a little bit of leeway and a grain of salt with the processing fee and the controversy surrounding MDPI's pay-to-publish model. The article dives into some of the history of how the unicorn became a symbol for the queer community and queer representation, and also how The Last Unicorn can be read as a trans narrative despite Peter S. Beagle being a cisgender heterosexual man. The first portion of the article describes the history of the unicorn as a queer symbol. Unicorns have become an accidental ambassador of the queer community due to their hyperfemininity and also their mythical status, where they're existing on the outskirts of societal norms. This hyperfemininity is interesting, as the authors point out that unicorns were originally represented as masculine, untamable beasts that portrayed virile virility. A quote in the article from Miller speculates, "Beagle's decision to gender the unicorn female likely played a major role in the gradual feminization of the unicorn's image over the next 2 decades." The authors then state, by taking a symbol of masculinity and turning it into an image of femininity, Beagle intermixed multiple gendered characteristics. This enabled the, quote, transiting of the unicorn, which can be interpreted as a signifier of gender fluidity. The rest of the article dives into examining The Last Unicorn through both queer and trans lenses. The authors discuss that the unicorn's transformation presents a trans narrative and explains the trans experience, quote, including the frustration of being misgendered, a sense of non-normative temporality, the horrors of dysphoria, false solace in repression and compulsory conformity, and finally, the finding of community and acceptance, end quote. We see throughout the film that the unicorn gets mistaken as a normal white mare multiple times throughout the film, much to the unicorn's disdain. The authors discuss the dangers of misrecognition. The unicorn is rarely taken for what she is and what she knows herself to be. We talked before about the old farmer calling the unicorn a white mare. This sets a precedent for the rest of the film, as most humans are unable to see the unicorn for what she truly is. This can be seen as an allegory for a trans person being misgendered, despite physical signifiers and verbal explanations. The authors then discuss the dangers of actually being recognized for what you truly are when discussing Mommy Fortuna. She's one of the few characters who can actually see the unicorn for what she is. However, she uses this information to the unicorn's detriment, capturing her and making a spectacle out of something that is not normal. Although in the film, unicorns have existed for all times and are anything but unnatural, people's inability to perceive a unicorn's actual identity causes them to stare and gawk when they see the unicorn, even if the horn that they're viewing is a fake one placed on her by Mommy Fortuna. The most obvious example of The Last Unicorn being a trans allegory is when the unicorn is turned into a human by Schmendrick to save her from the Red Bull. Upon awakening, she immediately has dysphoria in her new body, saying that she can feel the body dying around her and that she's more scared of this new body than the other dangers she has met so far. The authors of the article point out that the novel version of The Last Unicorn continues to drive this point home, as the unicorn tries to rip and tear her flesh apart to escape this new body. She is then forced to conform to other people's expectations of her new form, a beautiful woman, to avoid suspicion from King Haggard. The unicorn knows she's a unicorn, not a woman. Spending a prolonged time in this new body, however, she starts to lose sight of her true identity. This can be seen as similar to trans individuals who have to repress their true identities to conform to those around them, or when they're forced to do this when they are denied gender-affirming care. The unicorn eventually finds her community in the other unicorns and her human friends, who remind her of who she is, and this allows her to turn back into her true self. Again, this is similar to trans individuals, where finding queer and trans community can help support them and solidify their identity on their gender journey. The authors reference a video essay by Sam Komack titled The Last Unicorn, Overlooked Animated Gem, and Queer Fairy Tale, which extrapolates on the ideas of isolation versus community, social perception versus inner reality, and societal acceptance versus rejection when viewing The Last Unicorn as a trans fable. Sam's video does a great job explaining the trans narrative in The Last Unicorn, and he goes way more in depth than I do in this video. You should definitely go watch that video, like it, and subscribe after watching this one, of course. I will link Sam's video down below. I will also list the article I've been referencing down below. I highly recommend giving it a read, as it includes other queer people's commentary on how The Last Unicorn affected their queer identities. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled comedy video. The crew makes it to Haggard's fortress, and we meet King Haggard and his son Prince Lear for the first time. And gosh, Haggard is Haggard, am I right? Schmendrick introduces the unicorn as Lady Amalthea and requests that Haggard lets them all be part of his court. Haggard is like, no thanks, I don't keep anything around me that doesn't make me happy, and nothing makes me happy. Okay, you know if Haggard was a real person, he would be posting on Reddit saying that he's #forever alone and that no one wants to date the good guys, even though his personality is trash. Loneliness epidemic, Haggard, you caused it yourself. Schmendrick and Molly convince Haggard to hire Schmendrick as his magician. He only agrees because his competent magician doesn't make him happy, so maybe an incompetent wizard will. How's that burn feel, Schmendrick? Haggard gets way too close to Amalthea and stares into her eyes, seeing a forest instead of his own reflection. He freaks out and starts screaming, why can't he see his reflection in her eyes? Okay, Grandpa, someone didn't get their meds this morning. Don't give him a Truth Social account, otherwise he'll be making posts at 2 a.m. in all caps. He then says, in front of the group, mind you, whether they mean my doom or not, I will look at them for some time. Ew. Peeping Tom? Prince Lear has it down bad for Amalthea, and it's like, please let me know if there's anything you need me to do. And I mean anything. Okay, I added that last part. We cut to another montage with another song describing the scene. We all know how this works by now. Just a random call out, but during this montage, we see a cat that lives in the castle that has an eye patch and a peg leg that's honestly just a vibe, and we will see them again later. During the montage, we see Molly working as a maid and Schmendrick working as the magician while they bide time trying to find where the entrance is to the Red Bull's lair. We then see Haggard stalking around corners, watching Amalthea from the shadows. Perv alert. We also see Lear trying to win Amalthea over by doing heroic deeds like slaying a dragon and then bringing the dragon's tail to Amalthea as like a trophy or something. Girl is not interested, as she should. He's just boasting about killing another mythical creature in front of a mythical creature. Lear is complaining to Molly that Amalthea isn't paying attention to him, going, sorry I killed her dragon. Like father, like son, I guess. They would both be complaining on Reddit. He then goes on saying he wishes he could serve her. He is simping for Amalthea hard, and he would totally ask her to step on his neck. Molly goes to Amalthea and is saying that she's being cruel to Prince Lear for not even giving him a kind word. Amalthea is like, who am I? What are we doing here? She's losing her memories and having a full-blown identity crisis, but sure, Molly, let's feel bad for the himbo. The cat with the eye patch suddenly starts talking and gives Molly a riddle to help them find the entrance to the Red Bull's lair. We then see that the cat doesn't even need the eye patch. It just switches it from one eye to the other and is just wearing it for vibes. What an icon. Meanwhile, Amalthea finally talks to Prince Lear and he's immediately like, I love you. And then they kiss? Kind of fast, don't you think? She has amnesia, so I won't hold it against her. She's clearly distraught and going through it, asking Lear to help her drown out her dreams and prevent her from remembering whatever wants her to remember it. Later on, Haggard is creeping on Amalthea yet again. Why do men feel the need to do this? Amalthea clearly doesn't want to talk to him, but Haggard proceeds to tell her that he only adopted Prince Lear to see if being a parent would make him happy. Which clearly it didn't. Not only is he a creep and a peeping Tom, but now he's using kids as science experiments. Haggard reveals only one thing has ever made him happy, and that is seeing a unicorn. He says the first time he felt joy, he thought he was going to die. Girl, I think that's a medical condition. He tells Amalthea that he had the Red Bull gather up all the unicorns and push them into the ocean so that he could stare at them. Pervert Part 2, Electric Boogaloo? Also, I want to understand the lore here. Can the unicorns breathe underwater? How are they surviving down there? Hagrid then accuses Amalthea of being a unicorn and threatens to throw her off a cliff if she doesn't confess.
I'll hurl you down to the others with my own hands if you dare deny yourself.
What are you saying?
Amalthea is flipping through identities very quickly, and she believes that she's a human for a moment and is like, you're mad. Hagrid leaves her alone, saying he will wait for her to reveal herself. Pervert Part 3, she bursts into tears, which is valid, and Schmendrick strolls right on in like nothing happened. Dude, I'm sure you heard that. Hagrid was shouting. Schmendrick is just not it. He's not the vibe. He's not a good friend. The crew finds the entrance to the Red Bull's lair in a roundabout way that involves this guy, but that's not important. Lear finds the group wanting to help Amalthea with whatever it is that they're doing, and the group gets trapped in the Red Bull's lair. Schmendrick spills the tea to Lear about Amalthea being a unicorn. Amalthea at this point is in full dissociation mode, saying that she wants to stay a human, marry the himbo, and die together. She says she will not love him if she turns back into a unicorn. I think she secretly knows her standards will be too high. Lear actually does something noble here and admits that he's not the main character, and says that Amalthea should turn back into a unicorn so she can find the others. The Red Bull reappears and starts chasing the crew. Just in case you weren't aware, now that the unicorn is presenting as a woman, she's written as a damsel in distress, as we see her trip while she's running away and all she can do is scream, "Help me!" Schmendrick uses magic and turns Amalthea back into a unicorn. The unicorn gets chased by the Red Bull, and Lear jumps in front of the Red Bull and gets unalived. The unicorn is still recovering from her brainwash era and is like, don't mess with my man, and starts attacking the Red Bull and herding him into the ocean. My guilty pleasure is when people get a taste of their own medicine in movies, and I am being fed. As the Red Bull enters the ocean, all of the unicorns are freed and return to their own forests. Hagrid's fortress begins to crumble, and he falls into the ocean and is offed. The unicorn heals Lear and leaves him before he wakes up, saying that she will always remember him. Lear is like, I will miss you, and then admits to Molly and Schmendrick that he's never had any real friends. Poor sullen boy. Lear goes his separate way, and the crew reunites with the unicorn one last time. The unicorn states that she's still part mortal, as she's the only unicorn who knows regret. Even with that, she is living her best life, knowing that the other unicorns are freed and have returned. She parts way with Schmendrick and Molly and returns to her forest. Cut to, I'm alive. I'm alive! And that was the wild ride that is The Last Unicorn. I could definitely see why some people would describe this movie as trippy. The animation style was beautiful, but also otherworldly. I definitely enjoyed some of the randomness, like the caked up / motorboating tree, and the butterfly that was definitely tweaking out. I did not expect to come out of the movie making some connections to the queer and trans experience, but I am happy that I did. I think the fantasy genre as a whole allows people to experiment with different versions of themselves, or find some non-normative role models that they can see themselves in that they otherwise normally wouldn't see. That's all I have for today's video. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button to make my greatest wish come true, which is to continue making videos. Move over, Schmendrick. I hope you have a great rest of your day and night, and I will see you next time. Bye.